Today I'd like to introduce you to a guy who has a whole lot to teach us about identity. The funny thing is that most people know him for being short. His name is Zacchaeus. He lived at the time of Jesus, and he was a tax collector. Now, being a tax collector doesn't mean a whole lot to us anymore, but back then it meant a whole lot, and none of it was very good. The first thing it meant was that Zacchaeus was a traitor, because he had taken his job as a tax collector with the hated Roman Empire. The second thing that it meant is that he was a greedy cheat. The way that tax collectors got wealthy was by taking money from people by any means necessary. There's no doubt that Zacchaeus had found part of his identity in being successful and wealthy. And how do we know that? Because his identity shaped his activity. Well, at a certain point in his life, Zacchaeus must have felt like there was more to life than what he had been experiencing. And the Bible tells us that he had heard that Jesus was coming to his town, and so he decided to go and to try to get a glimpse. Zacchaeus and Jesus met. Jesus had dinner at Zacchaeus' home, and by the end of the day, Zacchaeus had become a follower of Christ. How do we know that? Well, Jesus said, "Today, salvation has come to Zacchaeus' home." So not only did Zacchaeus become a follower of Jesus, what else happened that's directly connected to it is that Zacchaeus' identity changed. He became a child of God. And remember what I said before, that your identity shapes your activity. And we see that in Zacchaeus. The Bible goes on to tell us that Zacchaeus' new identity led him to want to follow the will of God. He gave away half of the stuff he owned to the poor and tried as best as he could to pay back all those that he had cheated in the past. Your activity does not create your identity with God, but your identity in Jesus does shape your activity. For Zacchaeus, what that meant was that he gradually and slowly let go of the things that he had. They weren't as important to him anymore. For me, for you, well, I'm not exactly sure what it means for you, but I do know that your identity will make a difference in what you do and what you don't do. Your identity will be seen in how you schedule your calendar. Your identity will be seen in how you interact with your family, with people in the neighborhood, or with our coworkers at work. Our identity as children of God will shape our activity. And so today may be the perfect day to consider this question. Has my identity shaped my activity? And if not, what things need to change?